What do I think, or what do I know that has happened? So the
what
yeah, so
what would you experience about the interest rate?
2024 has definitely been challenging. There's no question about it. But with challenging times comes opportunities. That's a given. In some cases, that's
It makes sense
possible.
for them, but
In
that's
most cases, it's not. Developers could come back and say, yeah, you know what? It's a contract. It's an agreement. How about if your unit was worth $250,000 more? Would you close? Would you give it back to me?
But
Not
wouldn't
so
the
fast.
developer be happy to get the unit back and get the deposit?
Or is it here too? Because obviously you're looking at your neighbor, or you're looking left and right, and you see what's happening, right? And then you're still waiting. You don't want to be in the same situation. What happened? What's going on, or what's happening with others?
Well, we should have more of those.
Yeah.
I guess probably that's something that
We do. We're just on the west end instead of the east end.
Yes.
We do.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's still one of a kind, even in the east end. It's really one of a kind.
Yes,
It's fantastic.
yes. But those kind of projects, they don't come very often.
No,
Right?
exactly.
No.
That's the thing. That's why I did so well. Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
if you're looking for an estate lot, one of a kind, we got it.
Yes.
Not many know about it.
No, that's true.
Not on MLS.
No, exactly.
No.
Your
Call us.
your cousin realtor will not know about this. Trust me.
No, it's only on us. 90% of the people don't know this, but 2024 real estate market was a wild ride. I want to tell you a secret about how the market changed. Sit tight, because I know Toronto team is going to break it all down for you. Let's start with elephant in the room, interest rates. Bridget, how did the interest rate hike in 2024 affect our sellers and buyers?
Oh my, where do we start? The rates were definitely challenging this year. I mean, I've had a few buyers that, they thought they were ready, but then with the rate hikes, they decided to kind of just stay on the sidelines for a bit. We did manage to find some creative financing options for them, so we were able to find some really good deals in the city because the rates were so high. Not as many buyers were able to purchase, unfortunately. It also affected some of my clients from pre-construction that bought a few years ago and pre-qualified at a lower rate. But then when it came time to close this year, it was quite challenging to get them approved at a much higher rate, right? So some people had to unfortunately try to sell their units as assignment sales. Some managed to do so, and then some are still for sale as assignments.
So what do you think people who were buying pre-construction this year? Do you think they were more encouraged? Because, I mean, it's at the peak of the rates, but then the rates are going to go down.
Yeah, although they still need to get pre-approved, right? So to get pre-approved at a much higher rate, but the positive thing is, it will close in a much later date. So hopefully by then rates will have gone down. And then once it's time to actually qualify to close on the property, they'll be able to qualify it at a much better rate.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
How about you? What do you think, Emil?
What do I think, or what do I know that has happened? So the
what
so
what was your experience about the interest rate?
2024 has definitely been challenging. There's no question about it. But with challenging times comes opportunities. That's a given. The challenge was, of course, that as Bridget mentioned, a lot of people bought it when the interest rate environment was very different, and now they're forced to close at this higher interest rates. And not everybody has been able to do so. And that has been
this year.
Yeah. But with some help, again, we are figuring things out for most of them. There are some, unfortunately, that we couldn't help. They over-leveraged themselves against advice and put themselves in a situation where they weren't able to close, and some of them actually lost deposits. And this is seen in the market wide, right? You have people on assignments that are losing $120,000, $150,000 and are telling to the next buyer, please just take the liability away from me. I can't close. There are builders in the best case scenario that would accept to take the unit back And we've seen cases where builders have gone back to the clients and tried to enforce that contract. And they have slapped them with lawsuits. I've seen upwards of $250,000 on top of the $150,000 deposit that the clients left on the table. And for the most part, the units are appraising. It's just simply the client's inability to close. But there are some cases when units do not appraise, and that is the toughest one, right? When the banks are coming and saying, well, your unit is really worth $200,000 less, and the clients are looking at this and saying, well, I have $150,000 down as a deposit. My unit is worth $200,000 less. Well, how about I walk away? In some cases, that's possible.
For them, but
in most cases, it's not. Developers could come back and say, yeah, you know what? It's a contract. It's an agreement. How about if your unit was worth $250,000 more? Would you close? Would you give it back to me?
But wouldn't
Not so
the developer
fast.
be happy to get the unit back and get the deposit? Why would they go after people?
Think of picture this. Let's say you have a big developer that has been working on the building for the last 4 or 5 years, sometimes more. They have a loan of $250 million from the bank that was used to build the building, and they're paying interest on that. And now all of a sudden they get 20% of the units back. Well, guess what? The profit of margin in a building like that is about 10%. Let's say 15% at best. You get 20% of the units back, you're taking big developers down very quickly. So not really. I mean, it depends on the circumstance. There are some cases when developers may be okay to take the unit back, assuming that, let's say, they didn't have a lot of rescissions or the unit still appraises in the market. But in most cases, that's a pretty scary thought.
It is. It is for the developers and for the buyers, right?
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, it's a lot of good opportunities for buyers who are buying assignments, who are going after the assignments, like investors.
And that, I think, is the elephant in the room.
That is the
Absolutely. There's huge opportunities for the ones that are well financed and well educated. There are a ton of opportunities out there. Absolutely. And I'm not saying that any assignment where the seller is losing the deposit is a good opportunity. Not at all.
There are a lot of them that are still
They are still overpriced because the sheep bought when everybody was buying, and I was sounding the alarm. We all were at the time, and people were still buying. So the opportunity really lies on assignments where there is not only profit left on the table, but maybe the seller is losing a little bit of money as well, and the one that's well capitalized can come in and scoop it up. And we know what's going to happen in an environment where rates are high and are going down. Well, rates go down, prices go up, rates go up, prices go down. It's as simple as that. So it's you'd be way better off buying something when the interest rates are high and the prices are down, versus prices are up, are high, and interest rates are low.
Yeah. Because that's when everybody is buying.
Right.
Same goes with the stock market, right? I mean, with the stock market, everybody, well, not everybody, but most people, the majority, buy when it's high
At the peak,
and sell low.
Yeah.
As opposed to, you have to do the opposite, basically. You have to buy low, sell high. But like, people are pretty, like, they follow the crowd.
The trend.
Yeah, you have the well-educated investors, and you have, again, the sheep. And the sheep were responsible for 2021 and 2022 craziness in the market, right? They were buying just because they thought probably we were running out of real estate. I don't know. But the prices, we saw increases of upwards of 30% in the outskirts of GTA, which is completely unsustainable.
But think about it this way. A lot of buyers thought, okay, the immigration, like last year alone, we had 1.2 million people added to the population. So everybody's like, okay, so the population is increasing. We're not building enough. So it's intuitive that the prices are going to go up, supply and demand. But a lot of people didn't pay attention to interest rates and, how that will affect the market.
Well, it's like COVID time, right? Like COVID, I remember I was working with buyers that wanted to buy in Milton, and they had a fair budget, like a pretty good budget, especially for Milton at the time. And we got completely priced out of Milton. We had to move all the way to Guelph. And even Guelph, we were getting priced out. The rates were so low around that time. But then people that were able to buy, and they were probably already at their limit, basically. And I've had like 2 clients that needed to move out literally a year and a half later because when rates went up, then they weren't even able to afford those new mortgage payments when their rates renewed a few years later. So I remember at that COVID time when the rates were super low, like the prices went up. Like we were getting priced out completely.
There were like 1% rates available, right? So everybody was
like
like
1.29 or
It's
something, like some
fantastic,
like crazy rates. Yeah.
And you know, I mean, in cases like that, you know, it's not sustainable, right? As it is not sustainable right now.
Right now.
And we know we're on the way down.
That's true. What
But
about you,
even-
Ramona?
But even if we see the rates now that the rates are going down, we expected to see prices going up, or we expected to see a little bit more movement in the market.
Very
And
good
that
question.
is
Yeah.
still not happening yet, right?
I think people know, right?
Yeah,
You
so
know.
we had 3 cuts so far,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And prices are
But-
not moving anywhere yet.
Not yet.
Not yet,
Until
not
not
yet.
until the sheep wake up and
Yeah,
start
exactly.
buying, right? It's
Exactly.
exactly the same. I think we're overshooting on the downside as well. I'm quite sure this is happening. I understand that the investors and the end users and the, I would say, uneducated investors are sort of spooked. That's fine. That's natural. But you have to be able to understand that when a new product is not able to be delivered at the prices that resale or assignments are being sold for because of the cost of land, cost of construction, taxes by the government, all the marketing costs, then you know you
Permit
have
fees
you
and
have
all that.
exactly
right?
those have gone through the roof,
Yeah.
and you know you're onto something. So now if the opportunity presents itself to purchase at lower than replacement cost, then why wouldn't you take that? I think the issue is when you over leverage yourself and you bite more than you can chew.
Now you can't
and-
afford anything more, right?
and now you can't afford anything more, sure. But there are some people who are still grabbing some good deals out there. So
And then probably is the fear too. Because obviously you're looking at your neighbor or you're looking left and right and you see what's happening, right? And then you're still waiting. You don't want to be in the same situation. What
Position, yeah.
happened? What's going on or what's happening with others?
A lot of it
Yeah.
has to do with
And that's why-
psychology, right? People always want
Exactly.
but it's impossible to time the market, right? We know this from
That's impossible.
Yeah.
the stock market. We know this from the real estate market. What you do is you average, you buy when you can, you do the math
It's a
based
long-term
on a
investment,
higher.
right? You keep
It
it for a
is.
long time. You don't buy to sell next year or in 2 years from now.
That's the other elephant in the room. A lot of people were treating real estate as a
A
short-term
quick
game.
flip or something.
Quick flip,
Yeah.
and that's not how
Yeah.
it's supposed to be. It's been over 10 years that I've recommended clients. Sure, you can make a money by assigning, but you don't buy based on that premise. You have to make sure that you close. And should the environment be such that it prices goes up and it justifies you flipping it at $150,000 more, then great, congrats. But then what are you going to do with the money? Where's the money going? In real estate again? Well, you're buying at a higher
you buy
price.
high.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
sell high, you buy high.
Yeah.
And
So
so
you-
you haven't made much.
So what's the point of an assignment to begin with? Like why are you flipping? Unless there is again a personal reason that you need to maybe I don't know,
Unless you're
upgrade
getting
your own
out of the
property.
real estate market, if you're spending money somewhere else or doing some other investment.
Consolidate into bigger real estate, for example, for yourself, or I don't know exactly, you take it out of real estate, or you don't believe in it anymore, for whatever that reason may be. There are many valid reasons, but to sell an assignment, pay a bunch of fees, and then put the money back into real estate, to me is
That's
ludicrous, and that's what has happened for many years. Which again, we shouldn't complain. We're real estate agents. We make money based on this, and we tell this to the clients,
Yeah.
and they still don't listen.
Yeah. But I remember like a few years back, maybe like even just 3 years ago, we had clients that's all they were doing, buying, never closing on a property, and it worked for them for a few years, right? Doing that.
I mean, back in 2016,
yeah, like even
or,
like
when the
exactly,
market
right?
was
Some
really
that
high
bought like
then.
much earlier on and were closing in the last like 2-3 years. Like I've had a few people that's literally what they did. They would buy, never close, and then just
They
sell
sold
as an
it.
assignment, and then use that money to buy again. It
That
just
happened
doesn't
in
work.
resale
It
market
doesn't work anymore.
too. Back in like 2016, people
Yeah.
like buying resale, like long closing. They sold it within that 2 months of closing for a higher price, 200,000 higher.
And that should
Yeah.
always be the cue in any market. When you have those kind of price appreciations, I think, in
Yeah.
such short.
I mean,
short
some
time.
neighborhoods they haven't even gone back to that price that they sold back in like Realtor market,
Right.
for example. Some of the properties they still haven't gotten back to that level,
Yeah.
2016, 2017 level. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I tell you a story regarding this hype
Yeah.
and how,
Yeah.
how crazy it sounds? I forgot it was really at the height of this craziness, I would say 2022 probably at some point, where I'm not going to name names or projects. There was this project downtown. We're giving units away with 5% deposit. And this good client of mine comes to me and says, well, they have a 5% deposit. I think I'm going to buy. Even if I make 5% on it, this is great. I remember saying at the time, I understand, but the reason for buying is not the deposit. You still look at the price, you still look at the floor plan, you still do the analysis. You're buying real estate at the end of the day. You can't assume that everything will keep going up. And I kept on pushing and refusing to do the sale. And he goes, well, if I don't buy it with you, I'll buy it with another agent.
Oh wow.
Well,
I just say honest about that.
I zipped my mouth and we did the transaction. And I think that client is underwater now.
Oh wow.
I
Should've
know.
listened.
Well, I mean,
Sad,
like you
but-
told them, right?
He didn't
And
come to
I
you.
did.
that
He
was
didn't come to you.
No, he did it.
We
When-
still
like,
closed
oh,
it.
okay.
We still did the transaction, but it's
Yeah.
just I knew at the time that it was just the wrong reason to purchase, because you're purchasing with the idea that okay, I'll flip. I'm only putting 5% down, even if I make only 5% of it. I'm doubling my money.
That's true. But I guess as an agent, what we can do is just educate them.
Exactly.
Right?
Oh,
And
absolutely.
then they listen,
Yeah.
they don't listen, they
yeah. I
don't.
mean, you can't force
Right?
people,
But
right?
No.
at least we are honest, and then we just say exactly what's going on.
That's exactly
That's our
what it is.
job,
We
right?
all
And
we
then-
all have our good clients that will listen to what we say, and we give. I mean, been priding ourselves for years now for giving good advice. Has it always been correct? No, but it has come from a good place.
It's an educated advice, obviously.
Absolutely.
You can't
Yeah.
predict
Exactly.
the
No,
market,
exactly. You
right?
can't
It's
predict
like
the
weather.
market
You
or-
can't predict the weather if it's going to rain or
Yeah.
not.
No, we
right?
all got caught with our pants down. There's no question. It's just
Wow, that
make
would
sure.
be really nice. Everybody would want that, right? Just so.
Have a
But-
crystal ball.
exactly. Bring the future.
Yeah, no, definitely nobody
Imagine
saw
that.
this coming to the extent that
That
it
it did,
came.
yeah.
But at least you need to be prepared so that something like this should happen. At least you're able to weather the storm, whatever it is.
That's right.
Did you notice any shift in buyers' behavior the last year,
The last year?
2024? Because obviously, right after COVID or during COVID, right after COVID, then everybody would go to leave
Like the outskirts
the
of
city
yeah.
and then just go to the outskirts, and then obviously those prices increase. But now, you noticed any shift again?
Were they looking for like more
What
affordable
they're
homes, more
looking-
luxury homes? Like what kind of shift did you see?
Just
in
a
buyers'
home.
behavior?
At this
You know,
point.
at this point, it's just a home, really, wherever you can afford it.
Exactly. Wherever you can put your money.
Yeah.
Whatever
So
you can
hard now
afford
to
it,
buy.
right?
Yeah.
The job market is not doing as good, right? So it's very difficult now for clients to move back in the city. But yeah, no, they're commuting more. I think I don't see a real shift into the city. The city is
Yeah,
still
the condos are
this-
still
the condos, sure, because that's more of an investor-based
Yeah.
product. But even the homes in the city, it's not like they're falling. The prices are still up, I believe, right? The latest stats showed a couple of percentage
smaller
increases.
Yeah.
if I
increase,
recall.
There
yeah.
was some increase in the prices as well.
So
Or at least
prices in the
no-
city
no.
are holding okay, because they never experienced that 30% appreciation that happened during COVID for the
they
outskirts.
did though. Wasn't it like a 23%?
Not in the
26.
city. Not in
I
Toronto.
think so, yeah. Yeah.
In homes in
But I
Toronto?
think,
I think
in
so, yeah.
general, people are looking for like more luxury. Luxury products sell better than average like home. Don't you think so?
that's a different buyer altogether.
Exactly.
That's
I
a
think
buyer that
they're
is-
already not worried about these hikes.
They don't
They're
even look
just-
at the interest
They
rates.
come to the market, they sell quickly. Versus like first-time home buyers or you
Yeah.
know.
The properties need to be priced. I think they need to be priced better now, They need to be priced aggressively. They definitely need to be staged. Before you used to throw any property in the market, open the doors, and it'll sell. Now you need to take care of it. Maybe do some renovations, stage it,
Yeah.
present it properly, and then sure, it sells.
You have to spend money on all of that.
I mean, like even going with conditions. I remember
that's right.
last summer, I managed to do a conditional offer on the sale of my client's property. Like I would have never thought that would even get accepted, and they did. Right? We had like a certain period of time to sell my client's property before we could close on the other one, but it was conditional to the sale of my client's property.
Did it sell?
Never, no.
Oh.
We weren't able to sell the condo. It was a condo, right?
Oh, no.
So unfortunately we weren't able to waive that condition on the home, which is too bad because we managed to get a really good deal because it was such a struggling market. And now that same property that they lost on by not selling their unit probably is worth easily $150,000 more today.
Oh, wow.
Just in a matter of like a year, right? But
They couldn't get like a bridge loan or some sort of...
no, they needed that sale of their property in order to close on the other one. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, but that's
and
a
the
good
condo
point.
market was just awful at the time, right? It's like the timing was not
Still
good. It
not
was
the
right before the
greatest, but
holidays
hopefully
too.
we'll
So
get there.
No, still not
But
the
yeah.
greatest, but again, you cannot wait until it becomes the greatest, right? It's too late. You missed the boat.
Yeah.
The idea is to go out there. If you are in the market, put offers. What do you have to lose?
yeah,
Exactly.
even another client around that same time frame, I sold them. It's like a townhouse. Is it freehold? It's freehold town in Toronto, east side, and they got such a good deal. Even on like these apps that kind of tell you like the new value or whatever. If you're looking at the comps, it's already worth probably $200K more because they bought at such a good deal when the market was so low, basically. And just those deals, I don't think there's still some out there, but I think when the rates go down, I think then the prices are definitely
That's
gonna go
correct.
up. And those deals won't be as easy to find, or going in with conditions of like selling your property. It's not gonna work.
I mean, in real estate, it's all about how much you buy the what you buy the property for, not how much you sell it, right? If you make a good purchase, then it's always a good investment.
It's you're
As of-
50% there if you buy it right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
if you buy it right price, then
Well,
Sorry,
we
Armand.
went to go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Because I remember we went to a project presentation and they mentioned a good point. It was you don't make the money at the entry, but you'll make it at the exit, which really stuck to me because it's kind of true. It's not like back in the days where you could buy something at $200,000 and then in 3 years by the time it's finished being built, then you're already making like crazy profit. Now the gap between resale and pre-construction is quite large, right? So resale is still somewhat of a better purchase in the moment now, depending on people's financing situation. But I also lost my train of thought. But anyways, yeah, we can cut that out.
So Ramona, celebrate some clear challenges pricing their properties this year. What strategy worked best for your seller client?
Well, totally different than what was going on years ago, right? And actually, Emil, you just mentioned a few things, right? So not that easy to list a property. So you have to do your due diligence. You have to, in order to sell it, obviously you have to price it accurately, and then not only that, but obviously it's you have to impress everybody who comes to see the house. So in order for that, whatever repairs are to be made in the house, that's the time to do it, right, before listing.
You've done a great job this year. Thinking of that townhouse that you sold, you got multiple offers on it. You presented it very well.
Oh, yes.
The townhouse, yeah.
But we took time before. We staged it. We had a professionally stager, so she did an amazing job there. And then again, we called the contractors, so whatever was needed to be fixed, that was the time. So we took time before listing, actually, before the house went on the market.
And you sold
And
it
then-
for over 200,000 over asking. I believe,
Yes,
if I'm
that
not
is
mistaken.
true,
In this market,
too.
I mean.
I
with
know,
the high
right?
interest rates.
So
Yeah,
that's-
client must have been happy for sure.
So, oh yes, absolutely. She was happy too. But what was interesting is that we actually educated the owner we encourage the owner to take every single offer, not just neglect the first offer or just don't look at the first offer just because it's the first offer, right? So she was open to negotiations, and it just, I guess it happened that that didn't have to happen. So
In this
Yeah,
market,
it was,
being flexible
it
is
was,
very important, right?
Yeah.
Sellers
really
have to be flexible.
Oh, you have
They
to,
have to
absolutely.
set their expectations right.
yes.
Open to negotiations. All of that.
Definitely open to negotiations. Yeah.
So,
But at least doing the work properly before it's listed, I think it's half the battle right there.
100%. Yes.
And it's true though. Like I've seen listings sometimes on MLS, and I'm like, "How are you planning to sell this?" It's literally cell phone pictures.
Yeah.
There's no lighting. It's either a messy place or empty, and it's just like cell phone pictures, and like pictures of a doorknob or like
I know.
like
I don't-
close up of stuff. And I'm
I
like,
don't- I
but
don't know what it
why?
is it real estate agents that shouldn't be in the business, or is it sellers that are squeezing
'cause
this
it-
real estate agent so much on commissions because
Yeah.
they're cheap?
Right.
They don't understand that let the agent do the work and pay the 2.5% because it's not much in the grand scheme of things when you can get 5% more for the house.
Exactly.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. 'Cause
Maybe-
I'm
I always
surprised
tell my
how many
clients, you
there are.
don't pay me, I make my own money, which is true. We make our own money.
Oh, absolutely.
We don't get
only,
paid.
We only get paid
Yeah.
when we perform.
Yeah.
If we don't perform.
All the
Exactly.
You don't
traveling, the gas, whatever we do that until it closes, it's all free technically.
Probably because there's so many agents, and then sellers probably they have agents in the family, right? So then
Such a
having-
wrong way of choosing an
having
agent, but yeah.
having the seller
That's
in
the
the
worst way,
family,
yeah.
then obviously I guess they go with that person just because they don't have to pay full commission. And then how, if you don't get the full commission, how do you market the
You don't,
property?
and that's how you end up with
Right?
cell phone pictures.
So, and then not only that, but again, nobody works for nothing, right? So you have a property, you want to list it, obviously you expect some income from there. And then everybody pays brokerages fees,
Marketing fees.
marketing fees, and all that. So
By the time
if-
it's all said and done, we don't even make half of what
No.
what we charge.
100%,
We don't.
exactly. And then if the seller expects, I guess, a deduction
A discount?
or
A
a
discount?
yeah,
Yeah.
discount.
where is the discount coming from? They don't realize that the discount is coming from the marketing, right?
Yeah.
So what is it? You don't want to have your property marketed
Marketed properly, yeah.
properly?
But that's why you
Yeah,
sometimes
so
see
probably that's
also
why.
like the fee, like 2.5% minus $500 marketing fee.
Oh my God.
But why am I paying for your marketing?
That's-
Doesn't
that's
another
like,
thing,
just-
yeah.
So probably
They're
that's
trying
why
to
some-
take it
listing.
from the buyers,
Some
right?
they
You know?
don't hire a professional photographer and then they just
And that goes a long way.
yeah,
right?
it really
having
does.
The
Their phone.
place
Really
professional
does. Yeah.
photograph,
Now
and,
more than ever,
having
yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all goes a long
Just the
way.
staging.
I remember that property. We sold the property. The seller was ready to take $1,150,000,
Okay.
and they were about to sign. And I told them, okay, I was about to send them the paperwork, but I was negotiating in the background. The seller didn't know about. I got them $50,000 more, and I'm calling my seller saying that, okay, are you ready to sign? She was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm like, okay, so I have a good news for you. She's like, what? Like, I got you 1.2. But keep in mind, you didn't pay me. I made my own. She was very happy. She was like, oh, well, yeah, that's
it's-
amazing.
At the end of the day, we're always supposed to do what's best for the clients. There's no question about it. And I bring it up all the time when they try to negotiate commissions that this is really not in your best interest because it will limit what I can do for you. And everything is laid down, right? It's on the table. This is what comes off the marketing if you're trying to negotiate. And this is the damage that does if it comes off the marketing. At the end of the day, it's how you present the property, and that can make a difference, easy a 5% difference, I think, in price.
Easy, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I guess probably some of them don't realize that they can make way more money by paying full
Yeah.
commission
Instead of saving
Instead
that
of-
like 0.5% or
Exactly.
whatever that.
instead of getting a discount.
Yeah.
So So
At the end of the day, guys, we're top 1% in the country for a reason, because we
True.
recommend to clients. We always give the right advice, and we do the work, right?
Absolutely.
So, all right, a quick poll. You want
Quick
to
poll. All right, this is gonna be
yeah,
fun.
no, I was just saying, it's like, okay, let's do it.
What are the most unexpected trends that caught you by surprise in 2024? Let's start with Ramona.
Trend in 2024.
That caught you by surprise.
Okay. Well, I would say rental prices.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you just look at it, then obviously interest rates are high, prices are where they are.
Yeah.
So you expect whoever cannot afford a home, then, and especially it's
renting.
like everybody's saying, oh, as you mentioned that, right? It's they cannot afford it, so or they sell assignments or whatever happens, right? So I'm surprised that prices are gone down.
Yeah, that's
I
actually surprising.
expected them rent to be still high up there or whatever they were 2 years ago, but in certain places they are not. They're lower. So
I think
it's
that's
really interesting.
Yeah, that's a combination of factors, I think, though, right? It's a reduction in immigration that happened almost immediately, especially starting with students and foreign workers, as well as a high number of completions of new construction units that happened in 2024 and will continue in 2025 before we see a drop in 2026. So that's the rents may continue being soft for the next year or so, and then I predict right here on camera that 2026 is going to be fantastic for both prices and rental
rentals?
rates. Yeah,
I believe so.
100%. It
The
has to.
only obstacle that I see on that is people's salary doesn't go up that much, right? Every year it goes up
Cost
by,
of living goes up.
Yeah, so
salaries
if the
still-
prices go up beyond a certain amount and people can't afford it, unless, there are foreign investors which are not really able to buy either, but people have limited budget,
Yeah.
right? So that's another thing that,
Drive until you qualify.
yeah.
Right? You're going to keep driving. Just drive a little further. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. Niagara
That's
Falls.
Not everybody
Keep
not
driving.
everybody is able to live in Manhattan, and not everybody should be able to live in
To live
Toronto.
in
It's just the
Toronto.
way the big cities work.
And there are a
It's-
lot of affordable places outside of Toronto, right? Within the city, it's expensive. You go out, you go up north, Barrie, Innisfil,
Absolutely.
New
They're very
markets, they're
affordable.
much more affordable.
But
And
it's
it's
also
not too far
it's-
away, right?
100%, and it's also that that American dream or American sort of lifestyle, North American, I should say. It's
Canadian.
Canadian. Let's stick
Canadian
to Canadian. Where you have to have many rooms,
Yeah.
vaulted ceilings, huge backyard.
Yeah. Want it all.
I grew up in communism times back in Albania, and I grew up with my sister in a one-bedroom apartment. So we shared pull-out couches in the living room. That's where we slept. We didn't feel like we were missing anything.
No.
My parents were fine.
It's all about
As well.
mindset, right?
It's
I
all
mean,
about mindset, absolutely. Why do you need to have this
you have high
large
expectations.
space?
I have to have like a mansion, 5 bedrooms, then you're
Yes.
not going to be happy if you get 3.
And then you're stuck for 3 hours on traffic. Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah. True.
But you were saying that it's more affordable. Yes, it is more affordable if you go north of
Niagara
Barrie,
Falls.
or you can go to Niagara Falls, as you said. But if you're to buy pre-construction there, cannot be as cheap as
No, it can't.
everybody believes it.
No.
It,
Exactly.
it
It's
will
still up
be,
there.
right?
Well, I mean,
Because
like,
obviously,
these
it's
are
like
right.
prices are everywhere
Yeah.
Cost
for
of construction
developers.
is high for
Yeah,
everything.
So
The cost of land is so much, right? In that
Exactly.
formula.
Yeah.
yeah,
When that goes down as the further away you go, but when it comes to cost of construction, it really doesn't go down
Doesn't
go
by
down.
that much.
Exactly.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
there are some buyers that they're shocked when we have these new pre-construction projects and It's like, well, it's Woodstock or it's
Right,
somewhere
right.
else, right? Or Fergus. It's like, why is it so expensive?
It's also brand
so
new.
prices brand new.
No,
and
what I
prices are
think
still up
would
there.
help the market is if the government built more public transit, like high-speed trains, for
Of
example,
course.
goes from
Yeah.
Niagara Falls to Toronto in like 15 minutes, half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we have those infrastructure, then I think it's gonna be much better. It's gonna be much easier for people to live outside of Toronto. It's affordable for them. They can commute back and forth. But right now,
I think
we only
I
have QEW. Everybody
Yeah.
has to be stuck in there for
I
4 hours.
I think we have a better odds of having personal drones that will take us to our
Then
away
them.
from
But they're talking
tourism.
about building
It's-
like a tunnel under 401.
it's not
I don't know
gonna
how
take
many years that's gonna take. Probably
not gonna
100
take.
Yeah,
years.
yeah, that's gonna take
It
a
should
while.
be under the 401.
It should be under the QEW. It should be
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Oh, you should have
Plus, we should
a
have
five-story
drones, too.
five-story
Think
highway.
about Eglinton LRT. That's taking
Oh my
like
God, it's
10
been-
years on the
exactly.
underground. Imagine if they want to go under the ground. How long
It's
that's
taking
gonna take.
forever. It's
It's
taking
gonna
forever.
take probably
Yeah.
for the next 100 years.
Yeah, let's stick to real estate.
No politics. How about you, Emil? What do you think?
Yeah, what caught me by surprise? I think the longevity of the troubles on the assignment market, I think, caught me by surprise. I was expecting that the inventory of 2023 would be absorbed a lot faster, and we wouldn't be in this position right now.
It's building up, right?
It's building up. It got worse. Yeah. A lot of people. I mean, the 2023 assignments for the most part are dealt with because those buildings are closed. 2024 assignments that I should have seen this coming, but I didn't, are worse because those are units that were sold at a later time at a higher price, and now are occupying in a high interest environment and low price environment. And that's, yeah, I didn't think of that at the time, but that caught me a little bit by surprise. Let's see where it goes.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
How about you, Bridget?
Like a trend. I don't know if it matches with what they're saying, but I'd say the luxurious market. I was surprised how well it did. Like we did a few projects with like very expensive homes that would sell out.
They sold quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with like 2 months, 3 months max, I think, almost to sell out like 2.2
I mean,
million plus homes. I mean,
yeah.
I understand it's a different type of buyers and everything, but for people to still be okay with buying that type of product in today's market, I was kind of shocked that it would do so
Almost
well.
around
Right?
3 million over.
Yeah,
even
but
over.
it's funny.
over
Those
3
were
million.
all end users, though, right?
Yeah.
They were
Yeah,
not
of
investors.
course, yeah,
They're end
yeah.
users looking for their own home.
Yeah,
And the products was absolutely fantastic. I mean, we're talking estate lots, 100 feet by 300 feet,
exactly.
right?
Good location
Um,
too, right? Close enough to the city.
Yeah.
Especially to have estate lots so close to the city, I think people really jumped on that.
There was no
that
substitute
occasion.
for that. And
Yeah.
by the way, we still have 2 lots left there.
Yeah, too loud?
2
Okay.
lots left.
We're going to work on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You know what caught me by surprise was that the first quarter of 2024, the market was much better, even though the rates were at their highest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The market was much better than, let's say, fourth quarter of 2024. That's something that even though we had like 3 cuts, 75 basis point cuts, I thought the market would have been a lot better than what it is
With
right
the
now
cuts,
compared to
like,
the first
yeah,
quarter
yeah.
of 2024.
I think people are still wary, right? They know it's probably going to keep going down, so they're still kind of on the
Waiting.
sidelines, which they probably shouldn't because there's still good deals now. And then, once everybody, like
Yeah, I would
Emil
say
said, like once one person kind of, oh, let's make this
Everybody
market,
follows.
everybody's just going to go and then it's going to be over asking, like the same thing that we've had a few years ago. But
Well, let's hope that's not the case because that was
Yeah.
crazy as well. to
yeah,
do.
yeah, exactly.
We're just
was
all
hard to
wishing
even
for a
get to.
balanced market.
Yeah,
That's all
yeah,
we're
yeah,
wishing for.
exactly.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that project because, well, we should have more of those.
Yeah, yeah. 'cause
I
that
guess
did well,
probably
yeah.
that's something that
Oh, we do. We
that
just on
most of
the west end
buyers
instead of the east
are.
end.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
We do.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's still
True.
one of a kind, even in the east end.
Mm-hmm.
It's really one of a
Oh,
kind.
yes,
It's
yes,
fantastic.
yes.
Yeah.
But those kind of projects, they don't come very often.
No, exactly.
No.
That's the
So-
thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I did so well. Yeah.
Again,
Yes.
if you're looking for an estate lot, one of a kind, we got it.
Yes.
Not many know about it.
No, that's true.
Not on MLS.
No, exactly.
Your
Call
Call
us. Call us.
your cousin realtor will not know about this. Trust me.
No, it's only on us.
Yeah.
Now, since it's the holidays, let's throw in some fun.
All right.
Tell me what's your favorite holiday memory related to real estate? Who wants to start?
Were you talking about stress or memory?
The happy side of the
Okay,
holiday.
fun memory, sure.
Related to real estate.
I had a client once close like maybe I think like a week prior to the New Year's Eve, and like a young couple, and they ended up throwing their like New Year's Eve party there. It was like half furnished, but like they put like a beer pong table, stuff like that. So they have fun and they were just happy. Like they started the new
Housewarming.
So
year.
what the housewarming
Yeah,
and
exactly.
New Year's Eve party at the same time,
Exactly.
I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow,
so they
that's
were
fun.
super happy about
That's
that. Yeah.
amazing.
Were you
Cute.
invited?
I was,
Okay.
but I was not in the area. I was in Montreal.
Did you?
I couldn't
Yeah,
make
because
it.
I
Oh,
went
you
for no,
My next question was going to be whether you got any new clients. But
no, unfortunately I couldn't make it. But I did get them a housewarming gift.
nice.
Nice.
So yeah.
Okay.
That's amazing.
You?
Well, I had organized one of these Christmas celebrations, and I invited some of my clients. And what I always do, I try to serve very healthy food and healthy desserts.
Butter chicken with no butter?
But
Did
exactly.
the clients complain?
Butter chicken with no butter.
No butter. That's what-
I remember.
That's my own.
Hot water instead of soda?
Exactly, and that was really interesting because obviously, like everybody expects cookies and all these desserts for
Fruitcake.
Christmas, right? So I had all the fruits and even cookies.
Cucumber.
I baked my own.
No sugar, gluten-free flour, almond flour.
Yes, but I ordered some cookies, like regular cookies, not too many. You know, interesting enough that everybody went and jumped on those cookies, like unhealthy cookies.
Unhealthy.
Right?
But that's what holidays
they-
are for.
And they were looking for more. I served
Sorry.
after they tasted one, they stayed away from them.
Too healthy.
All of a sudden, the fruit platter
You can have-
was looked pretty good.
Roasted eggplant and
Roasted
cucumber.
Oh, hormona.
No, that's funny.
Well, that's what not to do on a client party.
I know,
Right.
I know. But
Going for the full festive mood, the junk food and the sugar. Yeah.
I tend to do that, but then always, if I can bake something, or I always change the recipe along the
To a
way.
healthier
It's
way.
like
On the
Which
last
is
minute.
good,
on the
honestly.
last
That's
minute.
It's like my
I
banana
don't
bread
feel
recipe
like when I
for
see
the
how
kids.
much sugar to put in there, it's like, okay, how can I replace this, right?
With honey.
Replace it to stevia, and then stevia,
Stevia.
it's a little bitter.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously
I think you
It
could use
ruins
agave
the
syrup or
With
something.
stevia, you don't want it.
I sometimes put honey instead of sugar, and my
Yeah.
kids definitely notice right away.
They can,
They don't-
yeah, they
Oh
can tell
yeah,
the
they can,
difference.
they
They
can tell.
notice it.
They can
Yeah.
tell. Yeah, they can tell and don't eat it.
I always add like
What's
honey
the
Then
for
you just
everything.
waste it in whatever
No,
other
no,
ingredients you
I
use.
eat it. I'm still not wasting it. I don't know how good it is for me.
It's the best.
Which one?
Monk
Yeah.
fruit is the best.
Monk
Doesn't
fruit, okay, I have to try
It
that.
doesn't have that
What is that?
bitter stevia taste, so it's really nice. So that's what I'm doing.
I
You
thought
know,
it
it's
would be
like
dates
my
too. That's
my
not bad
heart.
at all.
My heart doesn't let me put the sugar in there and the
It's like,
flour, and even if I want to, but
No, I mean you're doing the right thing. You're
That's-
doing all of them a favor.
And some dates syrup as well. I remember I used that as well. But
Oh.
even that gives it a little
No, I
bit of a
blend
Yeah,
the
it's just
dates
sugar.
with like water or milk, and
Oh,
then
you
I add
blend.
it to I blend it so it becomes like liquid, and then
Oh,
I add
nice.
it to
Like a little
whatever
syrup?
my recipe is. Yeah,
You clearly don't have kids.
oh,
that,
you
that-
Or
can
me.
even make you can even make Mars bars and all the others, like how do you call those? The other ones, Mars.
Oh, the
Snickers?
ones that are.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You can even make the healthy version of those.
Okay, I have an idea. Our next episode is gonna be a cooking,
Cooking
show.
show?
So yeah, might as well.
Why not?
We're gonna cook and blend the banana
I'm
bread.
down. I have some good recipes in mind.